Hello everyone and welcome back to Brooksburk Zoo. In today's episode we are continuing with our African section around here. In the last episode we built the beautiful bongo habitat. We're first of all having a look at that right now before we start with continuing in our beautiful zoo here. So let's fly over to the bongos. I made some changes you can see in the background. You maybe caught a little glimpse of it. I built a roof for our haze. Haze? For our hay, for the animals, not for the haze. And I also built some second fencing around those wooden beams here because I thought that would make much more sense because some of those wooden beams are very low and children might be able to climb over it. So I thought it would be more safe to have something like a second fencing there. Yeah, today we are going to build in this section right here, and I want to have two more habitats around here to close this circle up a little bit so that you can walk from the main path towards the Okapi house or the African wild dogs that will connect those two parts together for all the people that don't want to go into the Okapi house and rather have a stroll around it. Yeah, so what I am planning here is, in today's episode we are building the habitat for the common warthog. They will get a nice little habitat close to the bongos, and on the other side, to connect the whole thing with the Okapi habitat, we are going to have another ungulate. And I'm thinking about maybe the Nyala or the, what is it called? The Nile Ledgeway. Not quite sure what ungulate it's going to be, what kind of antelope it's going to be. If you have any suggestions or any thoughts about what would fit the most, just let me know in the comment section and I will have a look at it. Yeah, with that being said, it's going to take about 2 weeks until the next episode of Brooksburk Zoo will be coming out, because in the next week we are going to start our tours for our community competition that I and Gaming Better started. So we are going to have a look at all those entries that we got for the contest, for all those houses that you guys built for us. And for that reason, there's going to be another video every day next week. We are going to do it like this. I'm starting on Monday with the first tour. And then on Tuesday it's going to be on the channel of Gaming Badass. He's going to do the second tour. On Wednesday then again on my channel, and so on until we are through with all of those tours. So that will mean that there's definitely not going to be a new Brooksburk episode next week, but I think we might have another video the week after that. Yeah, but that's just for your notification, for your information, notification, whatever, just so you know. Okay, so let's have a look at what we are building here. I wanted to continue with the build for the house, for the shelter, for our warthog, for okay. Little did I know at that moment that this door that I'm building right here, that really looks beautiful and I'm very proud of it, is going to be way too small for those big tanks that the Warthogs are. Well, they are not, but they have such a massive hitbox. I have the feeling that most of the OG animals from the game that we got in the base version of the game, or is it called main version, have much too big hitboxes. well, to be fair, some of the DLC animals do as well. So yeah. Yeah, as you can see, the door is not that small. It is big enough to make a keeper go through it and walk into the habitat and take care for the animals, but the warthogs that are much smaller than a keeper is are not able to walk out of the building. So I had to change that later on when the animals were in the habitat, and also for the interior as well. Well, that's what it is, that's what I did, and am I happy about it? No, I'm not, but hey, couldn't change it. Yeah, here you can see I did something with this window in it, so that in theory the keeper could look inside from the inside of the habitat and could have a look into the house. What the piggies are doing. Yeah, just give our keepers something to be able to open the door. Yeah, before I go on to tell you something about the video here or what I'm doing, I have to say a huge sorry for the sound, for the bad sound quality in the last video. It was horrible. I just noticed it after I was uploading the video, after yeah, it was already released, so there was nothing I could do about it instead of deleting it and upload it anew, and that's something that I didn't want to do. It was so cringe for me. So, but I hope you guys don't mind it, and thanks for watching it nevertheless. I hope it is better in this video. It is strange sometimes, because sometimes the sound quality when I'm watching the videos on my mobile phone is pretty good, but when I'm watching it and if I'm watching it on the on my computer, it is well as well. But then when I go on and watch it on my television, it sounds horrible. Music was way too loud, and yeah, just didn't enjoy it. So I hope I found a solution for that, and I hope that today's video is going to be a lot better than that. Yeah, here I was stealing some of the box pieces from our bongos to have the separation between the warthog shelter and the shelter for the new antelopes that are going to move in the next episode. The warthogs definitely don't need that much of a high fence, but I thought for our ungulates that will move in there, especially for the antelopes, yeah, it might make sense to have something like this higher separation there. But also I gave them a window so they can have a look at the warthogs as well, and I think that would be pretty cute for animal enrichment reasons. Yeah, and here you can already see as I'm building the interior or the boxes for our warthogs. The warthogs are not going to have separate boxes for each animal. That is not needed for those animals, because pigs in general are pretty social, and so you don't have to separate them. I just made, yeah, I did make some boxes to be able to separate those animals, because that is something that you also do see in farms when they have pigs. When the females are pregnant and they are going to give offspring, they most of the times are being separated from the group, because the males are very aggressive towards the little piggies, and sometimes the other females as well. So it could be, as well as the mothers, when you have bad luck, that they are going to eat those babies. Yeah, and that is something that we definitely don't want to happen. And that is why I built those boxes, so I could separate those mothers when they are going to give offspring. And once the piggies are a little bit bigger, they will be able to go out into the outdoor habitat and have fun with the bigger ones. In theory, in games, in this game, those mechanics don't work, so they are going to be with the other animals all the time. Yeah, and here in the inside of the building I had the same problem later on, because those doors for those boxes were not big enough for our animals to go in, to go in the boxes or go out of the boxes. The funny thing was, I think it was this box right here that I'm building right now. For this one, the gate was big enough, and for the other one that I'm building later on, it was not. Even though they were almost the same size, so it has to be like a centimeter or something, so really not that much of space that was the difference here, but in one case it worked, in one case it didn't. And I just don't know why. I don't think that I can show you the footage because I think I deleted it. But yeah, was a little bit weird. But in the end I fixed everything, made those gates a little bit bigger so the animals can use every single one of them and can get everywhere inside and outside of the habitat. Yeah, here I put in some of the bedding for the animals. Later on I deleted it and wanted to have some of the feeders in there, because I always like to have the feeders in there so the animals have another reason to go inside the house, get some food in there and then go outside again and play. But yeah, it didn't work. And so I decided we only have the bedding in there, and I built some fake feeders. But I don't know if I did it in this episode or in the next one. In this part of the video or in the next one. I even don't know if I did record it. But you will see it later on. Yeah, so here I tried to have a connection from the habitat of the bongos to the habitat of the warthogs. That is not looking too generic, and yeah, still looking natural, and so I decided to have this round planter here. And here's a tip for you guys for those curves of your habitats. When you want to have nice curved fences, what I did here is I used those brick pieces, and then I did exactly the same that I did with the planter, just made it a little bit bigger, copied it around so that we have this circle shape. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, put everything into a group, place it where you want to have it, and then I just deleted every piece that I didn't need and connected it to the planter. And so we have the perfect circle shaped fence around this edge here. Yeah, and later on I'm filling up those gaps with the concrete pieces, as you know. So here that we don't have that brick wall everywhere, that our visitors can look easily into the habitat, I decided I wanted to have something like a chain link fence for some parts of it, so that especially small children would be able to have a better look at the animals. And once again, those brick walls are very great for the animals when you want to provide them with a little bit of space. Yeah, where they can have a little bit privacy, I think. So that they can lay close to the brick wall and the visitors are not really able to see those animals. You might see that quite some time in real life zoos. Animals really are using those spaces, even though they are very close to the visitors. Then you're most of the time not going to be able to see those animals. Yeah, once again some second fencing here as well, because I don't want little children to be able to put their fingers through the chain link fence and get bitten by the warthogs. Even though warthogs don't seem to be very aggressive, pigs are not some kind of species to play with, because in times they can be quite defensive, I say. So especially when pigs are having babies, they are not one to joke around with. So I could tell you some horror stories about peccaries or even the European wild boar. So not going to do that. You can Google that. Those animals are really not fun to play around with. Here is something that I quite do a lot, or that I do most of the times when I use those mud bath pieces. If you don't want it to be so prominent and so obviously, just make a little pond, sink the mud bath into the pond. You can later on shape the terrain around it to flatten it once again. Put in the water in the pond and color the water into dirty, so it actually looks like a real mud pond. You actually can sink it as much into the ground as you don't see those mud pieces anymore, and only have the dirty water, and the mechanics still will work out pretty fine. So as I said, that is something that I do a lot of the times when I'm using the mud bath. I think I did it in Arizona for the white rhinos and also in Swamp Lake for the bison. Yeah, and I wanted to have something on top of the wall pieces as well to make it look a little bit more realistic, and just because my warthogs were able to jump out of the habitat and jump onto the barriers, so I didn't want to have that, and that is why I put those metal beams on top of it. So now it's not gonna happen again. A little bit of planting, and I think after that we are good to go to do something for the inside of the habitat. Here in the background you could also have a glimpse at those feeders that I put in the house of the animals. But I think we're going to have a look in the real-time part at it. So I'm going to show you what I did there. a little bit of rocks here and there. And when you have something like a pig habitat, you're not going to have too much vegetation in there. I don't know if I put a lot of it. I don't think so, because the most thing that you are going to see in those habitats is going to be dirt and mud, because they are always on the ground and yeah, looking for some food and destroying the whole vegetation around them. So yeah, you're not going to see many plants in the habitat, but we're going to have a few. The next thing sorry, the next thing was I'm going to build the roof, just as I did for the bongos as well. So nothing spectacular, or nothing, well, it is spectacular, but yeah, but it is nothing new compared to the bongo shelter that we built. So it's, yeah, quite the same. And to be honest, I thought it would be easier to connect those two buildings. I wasn't quite happy how it turned out in the end, but yeah, I think I made it work. And that's the most important thing, I guess. I also did copy those windows around because I wanted to have those for that part of the building as well. Because especially with those dark wall pieces, those wooden wall pieces, I didn't want the shelter to be too dark, and so we have some kind of light coming in from above, and yeah, that's why I did that. Here I'm completing the roof. Once again, a big shout out to PS Vision Gaming as well as Niniane Sparkler, because they sent me some color schemes for brown colors that I could use in the game, because I told you guys that I'm colorblind. I have a pretty hard time to choose color for brown and red shades, and so and also some green shades. So I'm very happy that those two sent me some color codes that I'm using quite often now in my builds, so that I have the right tone for, especially for those roof pieces. I really do love those pieces from the Aquatic DLC where we got that, but I didn't use it as often as I would have loved to, just for the reason that it has those yeah, it has this purple color, I think it is, and I didn't know how to change the color. Well, I did know how to change the color, but I didn't know what color to choose that it would make sense and that I get a nice brown color. So with those color codes, my life is so much easier. So once again, thank you, you two. This is, yeah, this makes everything so much easier for me. And here I wanted to have something like a little shelter for our animals in the outside. So maybe if we are closing the inside, because we have to clean the stable for the animals, that they would be able to get some shade and have some rest away from our visitors. And as you can see, I was really going for some realism, because I also put those nails in there. Nails? Is it called nails? I think it is nails. Nails and screws, right? Yeah. Yeah, I just was thinking, because the first thing I was thinking about when saying nails was fingernails, but yeah, I think it is nails in terms of construction as well. And as you can see, our warthogs are already in the habitat. And the only thing that is left to do now is give them some food, and especially food enrichment as well, and which I'm going to do right now. Yeah, I was trying to have that food enrichment item in here as well, like I did for the mud bath, but it just didn't work out the way, and it looked just weird, like a little volcano or something like that, and I definitely didn't enjoy that. So I decided, okay, let's leave it like it is, and just put some rocks and plants around it to make it fade a little bit more with the terrain, and yeah, that's what it is. I think I saw a video of Just Goron, how you can put those enrichment items into the ground without having it disturbed by the terrain. I think you have to put some kind of path beneath it, and yeah, that will prevent the terrain from going down or up, and yeah, maybe I'm going back into that and trying that out, because I'm really not happy with the wooden beams around it. I just wish it would look a little bit more natural. I know in real life, if you have something like this, you would also be able to see it. But I wanted it to look, yeah, I wanted it to have the animals be able to show their natural behavior, and burrowing into the ground and stuff like that, and looking for some food, and that's what I was looking for. And yeah, so maybe we have to go with that. But in the end, I think it looks pretty okay. Yeah, just some final touches. As I said, we don't have that much of planting in here, just a little bit of grass here and there, and some rocks and lots of dirt and mud and stuff like that, and yeah, that's it. So here we are in the real-time part. I updated our map. Here you can see the warthogs have moved in, and now we are going to have a little tour to our animals. As you can see, I only put the roof on the part of the shelter for our warthogs. Yeah, and here you can see right now we have those fake feeders that I put in here. I just used some concrete pieces, or was it plaster pieces, and put in all of the fruits and vegetables that we have in the game. So that's an easy thing that you can do. Unfortunately, those animals are not able to eat something of that, and will not have any mechanics that they are going to interact with it, but it looks really pretty. So with that being said, I think I will leave you alone with our animals. The only thing that has to be said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, so it would be so amazing if we accomplished this in March this year, so that we have 1K subscribers on this channel. This would be such a huge milestone for me. Yeah, as you are going to have a look at our Warthogs, we will also have a look in a few minutes to some other animals in here, because we have lots of babies in Brooksburk Zoo already. We have some little wild dogs, and we also do have a baby Okapi, so let's have a look at them as well. Okay, once again, thanks guys for watching. See you in the next video in about 2 weeks, I think, and take care of yourself. Bye guys.